Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to debate about the Son of God who is Jesus that was died for us. But before we start, please do me a favor. Subscribe, like, and share, and don't forget to visit our website at www.rifastores.com. Thanks. Now let's begin. For centuries, the figure known to billions as the Son of God, the Messiah, the Prince of Peace, has ignited debates that have spanned generations. But who was the man simply known in his lifetime as Jesus, the carpenter's son from Nazareth, who was executed by the Romans and whose teachings have inspired one of the most powerful and influential religions in the world? Just how accurate are the accounts as written in the Bible's New Testament? Jesus defied many expectations of a Messiah. His close associates included prostitutes and sinners. Surprisingly, Jesus' ministry was supported by many women. It may come as a surprise to some that Jesus had siblings. In the heart of the ancient kingdom of Judea over 2,000 years ago, the infant Jesus was said to have been born to Mary and Joseph in Bethlehem, according to the New Testament Gospels of Matthew and Luke. However, the actual year of Jesus' birth remains uncertain. Recent historical research suggests that Jesus was born between 4 and 7 BCE, as Herod the Great died in 4 BC, and Jesus was born during his reign, challenging the traditional assumption of 1 AD as the year of Jesus' birth. Additionally, the New Testament states that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, but historians and theologians have recently questioned this, suggesting that he may have been born in Nazareth, his parents' hometown. The notion of a census in Bethlehem, as described in the New Testament, is also questioned. One of the most important aspects of Jesus' life and teachings is found in the Bible's 4 Gospels. However, these Gospels may have been written 40 to 100 years after Jesus' crucifixion and contain limited information about his life before he became a prophet. This raises the question of what transpired during Jesus' lost years. The Gospels provide little information about his teenage years, relationships, and personal life. Jesus is known to have had siblings, at least 4 brothers and a couple of sisters. Among them, his brother James played a key role in the early church. However, the biblical accounts gradually shifted focus to emphasize the perpetual virginity of Mary, the mother of Jesus, obscuring the role of his siblings. The belief in the virgin birth of Jesus, one of the foundational aspects of Christian faith, is based on references found in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke. However, this notion is not present in all the Gospels and may have been interpreted to fulfill Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah being born in Bethlehem. Ancient texts that didn't make it into the New Testament, like the Gnostic Gospels and the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, offer additional perspectives on Jesus' life and teachings. These texts, discovered in the mid-20th century, include various versions of Jesus' life and offer alternative viewpoints. Mary Magdalene, one of Jesus' followers, has often been associated with prostitution, but many scholars doubt this characterization. The conflation of Mary Magdalene with a sinful woman mentioned in the Gospels led to her being inaccurately portrayed as a prostitute by Pope Gregory in the 5th century. In the final years of his life, Jesus attracted a large following, especially among the poor and disenfranchised. His teachings emphasized the equality of all people and challenged social norms. He also attracted attention by performing miracles and healings. While Jesus was a charismatic teacher and prophet, his exact identity remains a subject of debate. Some argue that he was primarily a social radical and religious philosopher, while others believe he genuinely considered himself the Messiah. The events leading to Jesus' crucifixion are among the most debated in history. The entry of Jesus into Jerusalem, his cleansing of the temple, and his acceptance of the title Messiah all had political and religious implications. While Jesus may not have led a military revolt, his actions made him a potential threat to both the Roman authorities and the Jewish religious hierarchy. The details of Jesus' trial before Pontius Pilate are debated by scholars, and the historical accuracy of the trial accounts is questionable. However, it is widely accepted that Jesus was crucified by the Romans for charges related to sedition. The events following Jesus' crucifixion, including the empty tomb and claims of resurrection, are central to Christian faith. Whether these events are regarded as miraculous or open to alternative explanations remains a matter of personal belief and faith. The Gospel of John recounts the placement of the deceased body in a tomb conveniently located near the crucifixion site. Joseph of Arimathea was responsible for this act, and there is no indication that the body was intended to remain there permanently. It was anticipated that once the Passover and the Sabbath had concluded, the body would need to be retrieved, and proper final burial rites performed before placing it in its ultimate resting place. Consequently, it is reasonable to anticipate that the tomb would be found empty. When considering the situation within its Jewish context, it it becomes evident that the body had been temporarily interred, awaiting a final reburial. Could it be possible that the reports of Jesus' resurrection are rooted in a simple misunderstanding? Perhaps the true reason for Jesus' body being absent from the tomb is that he died shortly before the Sabbath, and his body was relocated for the purpose of a proper anointing before its final burial. Or is there another explanation? Bart Ehrman suggests that the disciples, devastated by Jesus' crucifixion, later claimed to have seen him alive, leading to stories of his resurrection circulating. This reinforced the disciples' belief that Jesus was favored by God, and he would return from heaven to establish his kingdom on earth. Was Jesus' crucified body intentionally removed from the tomb to provoke speculation and controversy? Could the gospel accounts have been written to promote the idea of Jesus' divine origin? It is indeed a historical fact that at least a few of Jesus' disciples believed they had witnessed his post-mortem existence. Perhaps they saw a shadow or an apparition that they identified as Jesus in an altered form. This experience profoundly altered their perception of Jesus, transforming him from a crucified prophet into something much more. James D. Tabor notes that Jesus' followers elevated him to the status of the Messiah, surpassing any priest, prophet, or king in history. Robert R. Cargill adds that it was Jesus' followers who ascribed divine status to him, while Bart Ehrman highlights that Christianity became centered on the belief in Jesus' death and resurrection. Is it possible that Jesus was simply a holy man, a prophet, and nothing more than a mortal being? Jesus is indeed a success story, with his movement enduring through the ages. Could Jesus' divine status as the Son of God have been devised by his followers to legitimize his teachings? Or do the many questions and controversies surrounding his life and death serve as a divine test of faith? These are questions that will continue to be asked and debated for centuries, just as the Bible itself can be interpreted in numerous languages and is left to our discernment. Please do me a favor, subscribe, like, and share, and visit our website, www.refastors.com, and our Facebook page, Rifa Page Learning. Thanks.